Hi everyone, it's Aqib Rahman here. I am guest host on Living 365 TV today. It's time to stop waiting and it's time to start living 365.
Hi, I'm Ravi Amin. I'm a guest host on Living 365 TV today. It's time to stop waiting and start living 365.
Hi, my name is Lucas Asu. I'm guest host on Living 365 TV today. It's time to stop waiting and start living 365.
Hi, I'm Priya Ali, host of Living 365 TV. It's time to stop waiting and start living 365. Hi, I'm Priya Ali, host of Living 365 TV. This show is designed to bring you real experts, real tools for real people like you who are ready to stop waiting and start living 365. Coming up in November, Living 365 TV will be covering Oakville's largest holistic wellness expo, Saturday, November the 21st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at St. Joseph's Ukrainian Catholic Church. This is an amazing event with over 85 local and surrounding practitioners and vendors who will be providing an assortment of care. Here's how this works. You pay one ticket price, $25, you get in the door, you have access to all practitioners for 15 minutes free. It's an amazing day. We're going to be there. Come out and see us. I've got a show for you. Movember is continuing, ladies and gentlemen. Movember is still going on. I have with already Lucas Esu, who's been with us all month, but I've got two extra great looking single guys, I think they're single guys here with us today. We're going to talk about dating and sex. Let's talk about sex, baby.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Okay, welcome. I have Lucas Esu, life coach and NLP expert. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Priya.
And we have Aqib Rahman, super connector and networker. I don't even know what that really means. We're going to have to find out.
You'll find out.
Ravi Amin, the owner of TorontoSinglesDating.com. That's TorontoSinglesDating.com. I want to make sure I get that S out there. Welcome, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm so glad you're all here, but you are a trooper because I called you a couple of days ago and you made your way out here for me, so I really appreciate that. This guy
I have no idea what I'm getting into.
Which I even love even more because he really doesn't know why he's here, what he's going to do, what's going to happen, and he still came.
Yes.
So welcome, gentlemen. Yeah, definitely wanting to talk a little bit about sex and dating because a lot of people are dating, a lot of people are having sex. And I've had other dating coaches on the show. Most of them have been female. So I'm just going to throw it right out there right from the beginning because this was a hot question. Sex on the first date, yes or no? Ravi.
Sometimes they're the best dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really click, and I don't think there's any reason to hold back. Yeah, some of my best relationships. Not on the first meeting, but within the week.
Within the week. Okay.
Agreed. I think you got to go with the flow. Don't stereotype your situation. Just go with the flow. And if it happens on the first date, it happens on the first date. That's it. Just let it go.
Lucas.
I completely agree. If it's happening on the first date, your body, your mind, your own intuition, it's what guides you.
Yep.
If it's flowing, the connection is there, the energy is there, the chemistry is there, the polarity is there, and you're feeling hot, do it and have some fun.
Right, totally.
Life's too short. Make
True.
use of it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one of the answers I had from the other ladies though is about, men will think differently of you. So from the men's perspective, if you're dating a girl who is willing and ready to go and have sex on the first night, does that change your perspective or your perception of her? Does that discount her for long term? How do you guys feel about that, and what do you think? I mean, be honest, and what do your friends think, or the guys that you know? What's the perception out there amongst the men?
It depends on what your perception already is. Like I was saying, if you stereotype things, then it'll bother you, right? But if you don't stereotype things and you just keep an open mind and let things flow, then it shouldn't be a problem. You just let it go, right? You just do what you got to do, right? If it's meant to be.
It's meant to be.
Just like Lucas was saying.
Yeah. So just take it case by case type of thing.
Yeah.
Now, how much of that do you think falls on the woman, and is that really something that she feels about herself, that she feels less than after a night of passion on the first date? Do you think that comes more so from the women's side? Have you seen that in women around that you've encountered yourselves or amongst others, friends that you know? I know you guys all have great girlfriends that, you know, are not necessarily the benefits, that you hear their stories. What are you hearing out there?
I think men think we're the special one. And so what happened in the past, it doesn't matter. She chose you and she's doing this, and it's you're the one that's the special person.
Yeah, so it's kind of like about the presence of the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's really focused with you. And
I don't think anyone's waiting for marriage anymore. We start very young. We don't have those high expectations of being a virgin or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's
There
not
is
there.
there is a perception and a conception that people have about intimacy, being intimate with someone on the very first date or the very first night. It's happening already. Some people just hold it so back because they have a lot of rules built in around what has to happen for them to go into a relationship. Some women believe that going into, sleeping with a guy on the very first day, they consider themselves that the guy may not respect them. So that's a rule that they have come up with, but it's something that they learn. It's not general for everyone. There are people that are very open. Even those people though, it's based on the context. If they feel so much out of it, their own body will override that rule.
Yeah.
And when they break it though, they start to feel very guilty. That's the challenge that most women face. But if they can get out of that, because besides all those rules, the end point of all those rules, it's to get to that same place. Right? So if you're feeling that on the very first day, that's an indication that the two of you have intense chemistry. Go for it.
That's right.
Totally.
Break your rules and start living. You said people should start living what? 365.
That's right.
That's right.
So if that I'm just getting a little bit passionate.
You're right.
I know, I'm like, can we get some fans in here?
So in that moment, if that's the spark you feel in your heart, allow yourself to enjoy not only that moment, but for you to giving yourself the gift to feel what is it that you're experiencing in your body. It's there in front of you. Don't wait. Oh my God, we have to go through this ritual. You have to take me out. You have to dine me. We have to go here. I have to introduce you to my parents. Before you get there, if that's what your body is telling you to do and you're feeling that at that moment, by all means, take a chance, go have yourself some fun. And by the way, you're actually doing a test whether it's going to last or not, because you actually know what you're getting into, right?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
But there is some virtue in holding off. A lot of times we get swept up by the emotions, and men especially, if she's hot, she's hot. And but if you wait a little longer, you might actually get to know her a little and avoid major mistakes. She may be hot and everything on that first night, and then she turns out to be a complete psycho. And now
That's true.
now you're
I
stuck
hate
with
when
her.
that happens.
Oh, yeah.
I hate when
Yes.
that happens.
So you want to delay the gratification just a little, get to know them, avoid yourself pitfalls that might steer you in a long direction for many years, and getting back to where you started, it can be difficult.
Oh, you can't get many years because it didn't work. You get the point. So the point here is that we're talking about the fact that when you meet someone and you have an intense chemistry,
Yes.
should you allow yourself to do it?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, right?
True.
Now, if you do it and you realize that based on their behavior, their values, their culture, that is not something you want to live with long term, then the two of you have experienced that moment,
Yeah.
which you wouldn't have. You've experienced that moment. Yeah. Not everyone is okay with this. But those that are okay with this, my social people, this is a city. You live a city life. People are living on a day-to-day basis. You go to a restaurant, you go to anywhere. There are people in which you just meet. And right now there's something called Tinder. Yeah, it's a social dating app. You can go there, you meet people, and sometimes there are people that do not want relationships. They've been hurt in relationships. They've been in terrible. They've not been hurt in relationship, but sometimes they came out of boring relationship, and all they want right now is some fun for the moment. They don't go through those rules. When they meet you, you are attractive, and they realize that we're going to do this in a very safe way. I tell people, if that's what you want to do, then by all means, go do it and enjoy yourself.
And that brings up a good point, like Tinder. I'm curious to know how you guys feel about the technology involved in dating now, because when I first started dating, a guy had to like call you up on the phone, and he had to
Or
actually,
AOL or something like that, right?
no, sweetie, no AOL back then.
Okay.
I'm that old.
Oh,
But yeah, he
All right.
actually had to call you up on the phone. I mean, maybe in my day, maybe he had your beeper number,
All right.
right? If you had one of those.
Pager?
Yeah, your pager. So how do you feel technology plays a part in a good or a bad way these days in dating? Because I know some people who have had relationships that have taken place and ended. They've not even met, but it's all through either internet or texting. You know, with these days how people meet, that the whole thing has started, went through and finished, and they haven't even met yet. So how do you guys feel with
I
that?
think it's a lot better because you're processing information a lot faster. You're getting to know people before you even get to know them. You get an idea of them before you start a relationship. So I think the technology plays a big role. It's a lot better with the technology than before. People can actually connect with people they would have connected with before, just through technology. So it's amazing.
So it opens up the pool.
It opens up all kinds of doors.
What about from the communication side of things, though? Like once you start to, you connect, you kind of decide you guys like each other. Just that whole I feel like we lack a little bit of connection, with the way the technology works. If I meet someone, that I'm having this whole relationship via text, or
Well, if you're busy, right? Like you said, back in the days, you didn't have this technology. Well, if you're busy, you're working, you have no way of communicating with somebody. The only thing you have is text or some other means of communication. But it's a lot better than not having anything.
Yeah.
So it's good. You're still communicating. You're still able to say, hey, how are you? What are you doing? Send a FaceTime message or whatnot. And it's good. It's better technology than before. So you're able to communicate faster.
Now, when I look at, and even my own, but when I look at when guys text, you'll see the little bubbles. When the girl texts, it's like this big, and then you get these little like bing, little one-line things from the guys. How do guys feel about the communication? Like when girls are really spilling out their feelings, or they're really detailed in their texting. How do guys actually feel about that? Because I notice a lot of that. Even when you watch movies or whatever, you see the guys are usually a one-liner. How do you guys feel about the communication balance with women through technology and texting?
I think first of all, the communication from the technology point of view, technology allows you the ability to reach someone you wouldn't have been able to reach. You can see their picture, you can see their profile, you can read a little bit about them, so you can filter in information about someone. First is access. It opens up the access. With people now from different parts of the city can connect with people from different parts of the city, from different parts of different parts of the globe, different parts of the country. So that's what technology allows us, is access, first above all else. Second, it facilitates a medium of communication. Before, if you live here, someone live in Brampton or Mississauga or Toronto, you have to, if they don't have a phone, you wait until when you see them physically before you communicate. Now with technology, it's so fast that we can communicate, share those ideas, share those emotions, and then we can filter and make decisions so rapidly, so it literally speeds up the process of dating and making a relationship works.
Yeah.
It's given us access to people we would never meet in the old way of our society. We go into work, and then I'm an engineer. I'm not going to be finding too many hot, gorgeous women at work. And then there's all these rules. Oh, I can't talk to a lady on the subway. That'd be creepy. I can't stare at her. I can't do this. Yes. So where does a man actually go and meet people? At a bar? I don't even get to talk to them. I'll be dancing with them. The music's loud. I can't have a good conversation. So this has really opened up the doors. And about the communication, I think it's about training. The women have to train the men to communicate more. Okay. We're brought up, hey, how you doing? You want to go there? That's it. It's a very short communication. You want to do this, do that. It's goal-oriented. It's very quick. We had to get girlfriends to learn to stay on the phone for an hour.
Wow.
Because women are...
You say, wow, is that different to what you know?
Yeah, well, he said what he has to teach girls to stay on the phone for an hour.
No,
The women had to teach us.
Oh, they had to teach you?
Yeah.
I can't be on the phone. I can text because it's fast. I can do like 10 other things at the same time. But being on the phone for too long is not my thing.
Well, but that's generally a lot of men. So educate the viewers as to what that is, because a lot of women will associate that with a lack of interest in them. So can you confirm or deny that?
I would deny that. It's just that I'm up to the times of technology. So like I don't like being on the phone because I like staying busy. But if I'm with the woman, and we're face to face, I'd rather have that experience than on the phone, because you can't see the person. So when you're communicating, like sometimes things get lost in translation, even in text. So I'd rather see somebody face to face than use the technology to have a long conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you guys are out with women, is it phone away or is it out? Do you find that to be rude, or do you find that to be acceptable? And because these are the things that come through my office. So these are the questions I'm asking, because the people that are coming through, they want to know this stuff.
I'll bring it out maybe every hour or something, just to check. But I usually do keep it away.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of respect,
Mm-hmm.
it's something to do with social respect. How socially respectful are you of the person who's giving you their time?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can put that phone away, it is something that I find even with my clients, and when I go out, I could see it. A man will be out with his wife. They both will be on their cell phone. I've actually mocked at people. I'm like, why did you guys come here? You should have better stay home and then go to your different rooms and then you text each other. Why did you guys come here?
Yeah.
You're texting and you're not talking. And I poke fun at them, like, put the phone away. Just put the phone away. Even if it's only 15 minutes, you will have a better time being in the restaurant. I do that to people sometimes just to let them know what they are doing, because they're doing it unconsciously.
Yeah.
We've been so trained by ourselves that we focus on the technology and we're losing this physical human connection we have. But the technology by itself, it's a way with which we can use to communicate and get connected. Mm-hmm. Now, most women today, they prefer you talk to them on the phone. Most women, not all, most women, they prefer that you talk to them on the phone than you text them. So the ability to do both, it's what gives you that competitive advantage in your relationship.
I think it's balance, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, definitely. We're women. We like to hear what's going on. We're wordy. That's what we do. We talk, we listen, we talk amongst ourselves and all this sort of thing. So I think we like both. But I think also, for practical purposes, texting is great. But once in a while, we like that little human-to-human touch where it's a quick phone call or something like that as well. Now, I noticed, too, a lot of women are, because there's sort of, half and half, where women are still becoming comfortable with being more assertive with themselves and what's right, what's wrong type of thing. There's so many articles out there for women about don't do this, how to hook a man. Like the language around this whole thing is like we're trying to cage one of you and like put a chain on you and grab you and don't do anything wrong until you've got him locked on. And
play psychological games.
Yeah,
I hear
really,
you.
I see all these tips out there on Facebook and a lot of the posts, they really make it out like this is this treacherous task that you've got to do, because men are like running away from this whole thing and that they don't want to be with women. And I'm wondering if you guys can, again, confirm, deny, give additional advice on that or insight to what that's really about. Is that really the perception around men, that you're running away from trying to be in an established relationship with a woman?
There was a pause.
We're trying to run away
I don't
from
think I've ever had a pause like that in my show.
I had to kind of think for a second.
Yeah, we're trying to run away from the relationships we don't want, right? Hey, of course, we're after what we want, and we're aggressive about it, but it's all education, too. Women are constantly reading these magazines with all the psychology. Men aren't. We're not keeping up with them. And there are you said hook a man. Well, sex is one of those things that once you have sex, you are biologically, hormonally connected to them. And it's like a promise your body makes to another person. So you can't take it too lightly, and you got to be able to break the connection if it's the wrong one.
It's a very good point.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys do or don't know, but I practice energy medicine, and in the field of energy, we say that when you've had intimacy, when you've been intimate with a person, there's an energetic connection to that person for 7 years. Yeah, so energetically, you will have some residue of that person's energy for 7 years flowing back and forth between the two of you. So it may, it's something that makes a lot of people think, like, do I really want to keep this person around for 7 years? Like, I'm not sure I want to go there, because it actually connects that to you. But definitely, and I find that women are also becoming a little bit more assertive as well. And I'm curious to know how you guys receive that, because there are, like I said, there is a school of thought where we're still waiting for men to approach us, and then we've got a lot of the alpha females are on the rise. Big time out there, and women are taking control and being a lot more assertive, and kind of I actually see the tables turned a little bit, where some of the women out there are engaging in practices with men that used to be just for men, right? It's not, we're having open relationships, we're seeing multiple people. How do men feel about that?
I like it. I like the equality that's coming out of it, because it gives women the opportunity. They're not suppressed anymore, so they're evolving from being indoctrinated by different beliefs and pressures. So it's a good thing to let them be themselves. So I think it's great. I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
It's such a great thing, because most relationships before used to be out of obligation. And any relationship today that is out of obligation lacks dignity.
Yeah.
And so now women now have choice. They are not imposed upon by religion, culture, or society. In most part of the world, this is still going on. But in most part of the Western world, it's that liberation where someone now can make their own choice about what's good for them, what relationship they want, and how they want that relationship. They can now also choose the guy instead of the guy waiting for someone to choose them. They can now choose, and they can make their own choices. And I think it's such a great thing. What that does, though, it raised the playing field for men to start to live up to their own expectation of good behaviors. So by women raising their own standards, they demand more for the guy now to step up their own game.
Yeah.
True.
It's also a freedom too, right? It's before women were kind of, I don't want to be too harsh, but they were treated kind of like slaves, the way they were treated. So now they're more free, especially in the Western side of the world. So I mean, of course,
No
the other
longer
side of the world
property.
we have to educate, but I mean, right now I think the women rising, it's freedom. It's freedom, and it's good.
The level of competition has risen dramatically among the women. So all this around their milestone dates, their 30s, their 35 date, they get a little crazy. The competition increases. Their skirts kind of rise too.
Okay, I'm pulling it down.
I like the new fashion rules, and in Toronto, with so many more women than men, available men, and with the porn industry out there, they've got to raise their game and be able to compete amongst all these women. How am I going to attract this person? And the level is so much higher now. We have so many more avenues. We don't have to be serious. The women complain that the men just aren't serious. We want to have our babies. We want to move on with our lives. And the men just aren't serious enough.
I'm confused. Is there really more women than men out there right now?
10 times
Yeah.
more.
Yes, globally.
Really?
Even here in Toronto and globally as well.
Wow, that's
Well,
why they
I
got to
think
do that.
no, it's the big cities. The cities are made. The men have to go elsewhere to do all the work. Eric, the cities are ruled by women, and all the jobs are taken up by women, and you need a CEO at the top, but all women underneath. You need the guy to throw out the garbage. But primarily, if the city's built, and the systems are there, women have the jobs, and the men usually go out west. And San Francisco, California,
Alberta,
you'll see all the men. You want a great guy? Head west. Lots of women on the East Coast. So East Coast women, West Coast men.
Wow.
That's my theory.
Okay, that's the theory.
Yeah.
You heard it here. The
Interesting.
Ravi Amin theory right here. We'll have to try and test that out. Now, throughout the shows of the month, because you've been with me, I think we've had the P word, we've had the F word was for feelings, and I'm going to bring up the C word today, commitment. Are men really afraid of commitment? Because again, when I look at these articles, it's like how to get him to commit, how to get him to stay with you, how to get him to pick you as the one. Are men really afraid of commitment, and if so, why?
I have a personal experience, which is great to share. Yes, men are afraid of commitment. I was with a girl. When I met her, the reason men and women they have different. Women tends to be thinking biologically about something called they have an internal clock. For some girls, they have it in their mind that they want to get married at age 20. Some it's 22, some it's 23. It's all pre-programmed within themselves. So by the time they meet a guy, we have no clue what this clock is. When they want to get married, when they want to start a family, when they want to move out, you have no clue. Now you meet when I met my girl, beautiful girl, I had a relationship with her for 4 years. When we met, within a year, she says, I want to move in with you. That freaked me out. I have been so used to living alone. Was I in love with this girl? Absolutely. I love her. But I've been so used to being independent, living my life the way I wanted. And I had a great relationship with her. We spent 3 nights a week together. When the moment she says, when are we going to move in together? In my head, that changes my entire life. Because what that does is it changes how I used to live my life and how things I have set up things to be. I wasn't prepared for that. I never anticipated that. But for her, she has a specific time in her life in which she wants to be living with someone she's in a relationship with. There's a specific time in which she wants to get married, and there's a specific time in which she wanted to have children. Unlike for me, at that stage in my life, I was just at the beginning stages of finishing up my training and building a career. So my career was so much more important than the commitment of a relationship. I wanted a relationship. I never wanted to move in with a girl and live with her. I have my own timeline, which was to build my business. And that is why men are afraid of commitment, especially when they are not set in their career.
Yeah,
For my opinion.
men are built to be providers. So from my own understanding is that a man kind of looks at his own worth or value as to how well he can be a provider, and for whomever it might be. It might be himself, it might be his family until he's married or whatever. But to be a provider, and that's something that they want to establish first before they can kind of think about that. Is that
That's
kind
true.
of what you're saying?
That's true.
Yeah.
For not all men,
Yes, but
most
yes.
guys, not all, most guys. And that's why they are afraid of commitment. They may not be honest with themselves or with the other person. That is why they are afraid, but that's one of the reasons.
And I think women kind of sometimes they get into that interviewing type of style of dating where it's like, let me get my questions down, like what you got, where you going, you got the job, like that kind of stuff. How does that feel? Have any of you ever been on the end of a date like that where it felt like that kind of interrogative interview style, just to kind of evaluate your kind of?
Well, that's a woman judging you by like a book, like judging the cover of a book, right? So they're not really getting to know you. They don't understand what you're all about and what they can do with you. So that to me shows me a lack of support from the woman and right away if she's going to be doing things like that. And I'll actually be looking out for stuff like that. So I'll find out, like this woman's she's trying to figure me out and she's probably judging me. And if that's how I see her reacting with me, I will start stepping back and even let her see things whichever way she's trying to see things, right? In a way that deters her away from me. Because that to me is not, it's not a way to have dignity. Like it's not something that's honest. It's not something that's real to me, right?
Yeah.
So I would just try to push her away after once I start sensing that from a woman. The other thing I wanted to say was when you're trying to get into a commitment, you want to make sure that the person that you are dating or getting into this relationship with is going to help you grow. That's going to be positive. That's going to look out for you and support you in what you're doing with whatever job it is, and vice versa, both ways. Not somebody you want to be worried about. You don't want to feel any negative energy, and like you said, there's intuition. You feel some sort of energy, some sort of negativity when it's there. When you have to worry that you can't trust them or they're going to do this, when you have to start worrying, that's not a good sign. You shouldn't have to worry. There should be no fear either. You shouldn't even be worried about a commitment. So when you start worrying about things, that's a negative sign on its own. So I just wanted to say that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's way too many ups and downs. We lose our high school girlfriend to our university move, and then from university to our job, and then we have to leave the country and we go to the U.S. and we're expecting her to follow, and she's got her path. We want her to leave her career, her family, her friends, and come join us somewhere where we're not quite settled yet. Yet we don't know if we're moving back home, we're staying, we're going, and we can't commit to them. They can't commit to us. We're going in different paths. They say, don't commit to anyone until you know what path you're on. And that might be a bad idea. Maybe we should commit and then go on the path together. There's saying, if you're going to go far, go take your friends with you. If you want to go fast, go alone. So I think maybe the path is like my parents. You were supposed to get married and then you take off to the new world and start a family and grow there. They're already set. We're always dating and we're going, are you coming with me or are you not?
Yeah.
True.
And do you notice though with the change in the way women are because of the equality and the freedom and the ability to follow and pursue their own dreams that maybe there are 10 times more women around, but not all of them are really looking for marriage or to settle down or focused on their biological clock because they are pursuing their own dreams, their own independence and building themselves. Do you notice that when you're out there these
Totally.
days?
Yep.
Yeah. And how does that feel? How do you support that? Are you for it? Are you against it?
That's great. That's amazing. It could be a man doing the same thing. It's just good if anybody's pursuing their dreams and their focus, and that's great. If it's that much passion involved.
And who would be open to the expectation that you would follow her?
Yeah, I think they should
Silence again.
they should be included in the decision making. They're part of you. There was a point where I thought women couldn't make those hard decisions. I should just treat them as pets and do all the hard decision making and save them from all the struggle and all that. But you might find someone where you can share that decision with, and that'd be great. But it is a difficult path. Both sides have invested so much into getting to where they are asking the other person to give up their side. Is
economically, from a loving, I have a lot of clients. There's a client I have now, which really shows why it's important both men and women really pursue their own aspirations. I have a client right now, the husband is a medical doctor. She has a master's degree, but right when she had her master's, she, the decision was made that, she stays home and they have children and she could raise these children. And when she focused her ability on that, before she met him, she has her own aspirations in life. But when they got married, he was pursuing his medical career to become a medical doctor. Now she's staying home and having these babies. Now once their kids are grown up, now what is she doing with all her time? She has nothing else to do because the intention was to raise the children. They are now the last one. They are now 21, they have 3 children. And now she's bored as hell. For about 22 years, she's not done anything outside of the home. So her entire life, with all this great education, it's spent only in raising children. Now that these children are in school, what does she do with her time? So now she's bored. When a human mind, it's not put into a productive use, gosh, it's one of the most toxic things any human being can go through. And now because of that, she has not come up with constructive outlet to make use of herself. She went into alcohol. Now she's drinking. And now she's addicted to alcohol. And it's a big problem because, thank God, they found me out and I'm working to resolve that problem now. But if that has not occurred, she won't be in that place because she will be useful. And now the reason she's drinking so much is because she's feeling useless. The kids are grown up. She has nothing else to do. From 8 to 5, 3 o'clock, there's no more use. And the human mind is not being put to use. So in terms of a relationship, in terms of a woman having a career, it's such a beautiful thing. First, it makes her useful within herself. And secondly, she bring in element of contribution besides the family contribution of having a child. But there's a contribution to the family in terms of her own productivity. And we human beings, we feel so much vested, we care so much about something that we feel we are contributing towards, and we are contributing. If, let's say, only the guy is the provider, and he's just the one bringing in the money, that woman now doesn't have a greater sense of contribution in that family. And there is so much of a leverage from the guy perspective in terms of how he treats her. And there are so many marriages that I see today, especially when it's from one side of income coming from the guy or the woman, they always maltreat the other person in terms of
I have an example. My sister's going through that right now. And it's not taking into effect, but I kind of foresee that. So I was kind of getting involved. She's my sister, right? And trying to help her out and trying to tell her, you know what, get into something, do something, you know, besides being a house wife, or with 3-4 kids, right? So I told her to do something. There's MLM companies out there, but there's some small business she could run as well. Sell cosmetics, or do your laser. She has a laser machine. Do a laser at home or something. So I think it's very important for her, if she wants to be healthy, to do something while she's at home, when the kids are at school, so she doesn't get bored, like you said, because that's what I saw with my sister. So, but I guess I have to figure out a proper approach to educate her on that, because maybe the approach I took was a little bit too direct with her husband, right? But I'll try. Maybe I can learn from you. Maybe I can try to approach her in a different way, because it'll be healthy for her, right? And I see the future.
Very healthy. Exactly. And also, secondly, not only just healthy for her, it increases her own self-esteem of who she is.
Yes.
When we don't feel useful besides the children, right? At some point, the children will go their path.
Yes.
Now, what would they be doing? And so that's why it's very important that, as you know, from the human perspective, one of those core key things in terms of the spirit of a human being is that it must contribute beyond itself.
Yes.
Okay,
Very true.
I'm going to read it back in here now.
All right, go.
And I want to go, because I know the ladies are going to be mad at me if I don't ask the sex questions, so I got to make sure I get them
All
out
right,
there.
let's
Okay?
get to it.
All right. So the perception is men want sex all the time. Yes? No?
I like the exercise.
It's true that genetically, though.
Just give me the yes or no.
Yes.
Give me the yes or
Yes.
no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the best way to get a
This
six
sounds
pack.
kind of like the lightning round. Here.
All right.
Okay. All right. If men don't seem interested in sex, or they're, the perception out there is it's the woman, something to do with the woman. She's not attractive. Yes or no?
Yes. Not attractive. Maybe something's not right. Like, I don't know. It could be all kinds of issues.
Yeah.
No, it's not true that when a guy is not interested to have intimacy with a girl, that there's a problem with her. A lot of men have a lot of problems. I know a couple that's come to me. They've been married for 4 years. They've never had intimacy even once, and the problem is not with her; it's with him.
So, I mean, like sometimes tired or stressed at work, just not into it. That's more what I'm talking about. So, because I feel like in coaching some of my clients, it's like, you know what, he's just tired, or he's had a long day, or it's at the end. But you're looking
I
at
mean,
me
it's-
like,
if I don't want-
no. What is this tired she's talking about? There's
No, it's not
tired.
about that ever. But if she's nagging and all that, like constantly, like something, like I've been through those experiences. I'm not gonna go through it again, but I'm just saying in the past, like if she's really annoying and nagging, and like you get to that point, then of course I don't want to I want to keep my space. That's a situation where I wouldn't want to engage in sex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I think initially, the men are very motivated, but after it's the women. The women take over. They demand it, and no, we don't want one. We want 5 of them at a time.
Yeah.
You got the multi-pack, girl, huh?
Yeah, and it sometimes might feel it's all about sex.
Okay. And how does that feel from a man's
Oh, good,
perspective?
good for us.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
When one of the reasons that a man may not be attractive sexually to his woman anymore, emotionally, if she's really being stressed,
Yeah.
or secondly, she's feeling some form of sadness or depression and she doesn't know how to deal with it, it's a turn off for men. Mm-hmm. When a woman is alive, the most beautiful thing in a woman is her laughter. When a woman is feeling alive, regardless of how she is, just that sense of aliveness is what turns men on.
True.
And so when a woman is really happy, the guy will want it all the time. So if there's anything that I would say, that if a woman wants to keep her relationship vibrant,
Yeah.
and you want a lot of intimacy in your relationship, if you're not having a lot of it, make yourself so happy your man gets turned on by that. Secondly, don't just look good when you're going to work. Look good when you're home.
You got it. High five for that, bro. Yeah.
I'm going to take that as your final word. And Aqib, give us a final word.
Final word?
Yeah.
I would say I would have to concur with what he just said, and I would say do that 365.
Way to go. Okay, now you get the high five. Ravi.
Yeah, it's all on the relationship. What type of relationship is it? Sometimes we go into relationships and we just want a friend there, and we're going, you're just my friend. Let's not cross over into the sex part, or else we might lose this friendship part. Right. So that might be something. It might be your situation, your work. You're worried about being laid off or something, and there's all these psychological things that might prevent it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, all for the 365.
Thank you. I like that.
Yes.
All right. Now, where can we find you and what's up and coming?
You can find me on the web, lucasasu.com. What we have coming up at the end of November, the last week of November, we have an NLP Life Coach Certification Training.
Awesome. It's going to be exciting. I've
Always.
taken it before, guys. Take it.
Always.
Sign me up.
Life-changing.
Aqib, where can we find you and what's up and coming?
You can find me everywhere.
And he means that. It's actually
For
true.
real,
I've
yeah.
seen it.
And
everywhere.
also on Facebook, I have a page called Synergy Access, so you can add yourself on it. Energy Access. My company's called Synergy Access that I'm developing. And also my name, Aqib Rahman, on Facebook. So find me there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ravi,
Which camera am I looking at? No.
you can go over here.
Yeah, I run TorontoSingleDating.com, so we're all about vacations, volleyball, whitewater rafting, producing the event that's going to bring you guys together. So TorontoSingleDating.com.
Perfect. It will be magically appear under the screen by the magic of TV. It'll be right there for them to read
All right,
and click.
great.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me and educating us, raising the awareness around sex and dating. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much.
to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I would have to say to you is, when it comes down to sex and dating, do what feels good. Check in with yourself and see what feels good to you. My rule of thumb is I do it as long as it feels good to me. Let the other person take care of them. Be respectful, be mindful, be compassionate, but really focus on what feels good to you. As a gentleman has stated, when you're a happy person, that exudes from you. And that actually can help to bring out that happiness in the other person and keep the relationship flowing and going. And it's all about the flow and go. So enjoy yourselves. Have fun. First night, second night, it's all up to you. No rules, just do what feels good to you. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get out there with a bunch of rules. Go out there and have some fun. Be safe. And as always, remember to stop waiting and start living
365.